Olympic champion.
So how long does that fight last?
Listen, my opinion, it's one round.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Anthony by murder.
By murder?
Yes.
Golly.
Might knock his head off a little bit. Like, it might be special effect, but it might go out.
Like legit?
Boxing legends are weighing in with blunt predictions for Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Alexander Usyk says the fight won't escape the opening round, stressing that after facing Joshua twice, he fully understands the destructive force AJ carries. Usyk views the event as driven by money, not sporting value. In his eyes, Joshua needs only one clean moment to expose the massive gap in power and experience. This is not competitive boxing, Usyk insists, but a brief lesson, with Jake entering territory far beyond his depth, where reality replaces hype, fast and unforgiving night.
About AJ taking that fight. Obviously, it's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Do you see something wrong with AJ taking that fight?
This is just a lot of money. It's just a show.
Right.
This is not interesting sport because, guys, brothers, Anthony is Olympic champion. Jake, it's just sportsman. Yeah, YouTuber. Jake do a lot of work. Special coach, special food, a lot of exercise, new.
Yes.
But this is guy don't have a mother fights.
Right.
Never
Right.
a mother fights. Maybe them wrestling, now professional, but Anthony Joshua, it's Olympic champion.
So how long does that fight last?
Listen, my opinion, it's one round. Because Anthony, twice, my fight twice. Jab,
Very hard.
yeah, look, you know, this is,
It's still from this
this
fight.
is jab.
Tyson Fury takes a sharply different path, delivering one of the most controversial predictions surrounding Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Fury boldly claims that Jake Paul will knock out Joshua, a statement that clashes with nearly every expert assessment. He argues that Jake is physically evolving, adding size, strength, and training with heavy resistance to become a more solid fighter. Fury views this transformation as genuine progress, not hype, and believes momentum can sometimes outweigh experience. Known for enjoying shock value, Fury insists his prediction is sincere. He points to Jake's confidence, discipline, and upward trajectory as dangerous factors. To Fury, Jake is no longer just an internet personality chasing headlines, but a fighter committing himself to serious preparation. The prediction remains highly divisive, but it carries weight because it comes from a man who understands heavyweight boxing at the highest level, adding an unpredictable layer to an already polarizing matchup.
Talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look.
Teddy Atlas analyzes a Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup through a strategic lens rather than emotion or public hype. He openly acknowledges the immense strength, experience, and pedigree Joshua brings into the ring, but he cautions against viewing the fight as one-sided. Atlas points out that Jake Paul is not coming in unarmed. Youth, he explains, matters. Younger fighters often recover faster, move with greater freedom, and are more willing to take calculated risks that veterans sometimes avoid. Atlas also emphasizes Jake's noticeable improvement in footwork, noting that better movement can disrupt rhythm and create discomfort, especially if Joshua assumes a static target. Atlas reminds listeners that every fight has two dimensions. Joshua holds advantages in size, championship history, and technical refinement built over years at the elite level. However, Jake carries attributes that cannot simply be dismissed. Atlas expands his breakdown by focusing on mindset. Jake is still early in his career, meaning he fights with hunger, ambition, and without the mental scars that long professional campaigns can leave behind. That psychological freshness, Atlas argues, can translate into fearlessness. He notes that Joshua performs best when he controls distance and dictates pace, but Jake's quicker feet and willingness to jump into exchanges could occasionally disrupt that control. These moments may be brief and rare, but Atlas believes they exist. His conclusion is measured and clear. He is not predicting a Jake Paul victory, but he insists Jake possesses enough tools, motivation, and tactical upside to warrant serious consideration rather than casual dismissal.
While we look at all the advantages that Joshua has, let's look at how I look at where maybe Paul has some advantages. He's younger. His feet are a little faster. I know he's not at that level of a fighter, I get it, but his feet are faster. Joshua's feet are not that fast, closing gaps, getting to somebody. To hit him, even if you're better than him, you still got to get to him to hit him. Also, Joshua, last time he fought was over a year. He hasn't fought. He was basically retired. Where's his mind at? He got knocked out terribly by Dubois. Where's his confidence? Where's his mindset? Where is he? Is he taking this fight the way that fans are, overlooking Paul, taking him for granted? Yeah, it probably is. Might be. Does that weigh in? Yeah, that weighs in. People don't look at those parts of it. And the weight. Paul's smart. He always puts clauses in there. I know this is the first time he's fighting a guy who's bigger than him and all that stuff, but he put in a 245-pound weight, clause where he can't come in over 245. What is Joshua weighing? He was off over a year. He was basically retired. Was he 280? Was he 290? Was he 275? Easily could be the case. He didn't have a lot of time now to get to 245. How does that affect him? Oh, we forgot about that. It's a little thing, but it's not that little. It's a thing that Paul put there for a reason. Again, Paul hasn't made too many mistakes. He's been pretty damn smart. I'm not saying he's the fighter that Joshua is, but I don't know if Joshua's the fighter that Joshua.
Lamont Roach speaks with clear respect for boxing and real concern about the danger of Anthony Joshua facing Jake Paul with full intent. He does not view this as a balanced matchup, pointing to Joshua's natural power and deep technical experience as a level of threat Jake has never faced. Roach explains that Joshua would not need sustained combinations or reckless aggression for the fight to turn serious. One fully committed punch could shift everything instantly, especially given a gap in size, strength, and professional background. He emphasizes that true heavyweight power is something no influencer-turned-fighter can safely absorb. For Roach, the physical disparity alone creates real risk, placing Jake in a situation where a single moment could carry severe and lasting consequences inside the ring.
Excuse me. My first thoughts was this guy's crazy. Not gonna lie. But I get it. Coming from a guy who's not a true traditional boxer, and to be able to have a position where he can fight a former unified world champion, former Olympic gold medalist, and to do it on such a stage where Anthony Joshua is a superstar as well. I mean, like, he sold out the O2, twice.
Absolutely.
I think. So, I think Jake is setting himself up for, a huge spectacle, and which is, kind of smart. If you're going to go big, why not go to the highest of the mountain? Why not? And I get it. That's what you call business right there. And I seen a lot of guys calling them out, from like Gabe to, other guys who are boxers. Yeah, like guys who actually beat him. But why would he settle for those guys when he could fight Anthony Joshua? So I think that's, I think that's smart. I think that's super smart.
Smart is one thing. What do you think happens in the ring, though, champ?
I think he gets hurt for sure. I think he gets obliterated. Something close to like Francis Ngannou. I think something like that happens, and it's going to be bad for him. But there will.
Andrew Tate delivers a brief but direct reaction to the matchup, focusing less on outcome and more on courage. He says Jake Paul has stepped into an enormous moment and deserves respect for even accepting the challenge. Tate acknowledges the extreme risk involved, noting that very few people would willingly enter the ring with someone as powerful, proven, and experienced as Anthony Joshua. For him, The result matters less than the decision itself. Tate views Jake's choice as a statement of ambition and self-belief, regardless of public opinion. He believes that challenging an elite heavyweight takes rare nerve, and that willingness alone earns Jake genuine admiration, influencer or not, in a sport built on risk and resolve.
Some people are saying, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that, because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So,
Yep.
And some people are suggesting he might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight.
That's all for today's video. Stay locked in, and we'll see you next time soon.